What's up everybody, Jesse here, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me. Before we get started, we're doing a giveaway for a $20 eShop card or a Nintendo Switch game of your choice. All of the details are in the description below. The best thing about this, we're using Gleam, so we have 5 different ways for you to enter. 2 for subscribing to each of us on YouTube, 2 for following both of us on Twitter, and the last one, tweeting out and sharing the giveaway with your friends. What's up everybody, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. This is episode 48 of the Hylian Gamescast. Starting us off first, this Nintendo Switch 4K rumor. The rumor comes from Marcus Sellers. Let me bring it up here. I'll have it on the screen for everyone who's watching the edited version of this. Basically, he made a tweet saying Nintendo will be releasing an improved version of the Nintendo Switch early 2019. This console will have 8 GB of RAM, 12 GB of internal storage, and dynamic scaling up to 4K. Some third-party games will only release on this version. All Nintendo-produced games will release on both. He has a reply to that same comment about 10 minutes after he posted it, saying streaming will become available with this version, Twitch in parentheses. A prime example of a game being Switch Pro only is Resident Evil 2. Of course, while we were at E3 on PlayStation's conference, they had a huge thing for Resident Evil 2 Remake being played. So, first off, he's deleted the rumor, but I took a screenshot before it was deleted. Or at least he may have deleted it and then reposted it, I don't know. But the original link that I had to the tweet was deleted, so I assume the original tweet was deleted. But again, I got the screenshot so we could discuss our thoughts on it. And I really want to say that all the people saying Nintendo wouldn't release an upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch, I've said this a million times. While I don't necessarily believe this rumor, I do believe at some point an upgraded Switch will come, because they have released an upgraded version or a way to upgrade every single mobile console that they've had, and almost every single home console aside from the Wii and the Wii U. Technically, the Wii had a second generation Wii that released. Took away like the online functionality, which was more of a downgrade than an upgrade, but they still had the newer version of it. But yes, the original Famicom had the disc system. The Super Famicom had its disc system. I think it also had the Satellaview that you could upgrade, play like download only games and stuff. The Nintendo 64 had the Feld 64 disc drive and the expansion pack that released that was required to play certain games. The GameCube had the online multiplayer adapter that you would use in games like Phantom Star Online, I think that's what it was called, some other games. And it had the Game Boy Advance expansion that upgraded it to allow you to play Game Boy Advanced games. Going with the handhelds, there was the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advanced had the Game Boy Advanced SP, the DS had the DS, DSi, DSi XL, DS Lite, all of those. The 3DS had the same thing, the 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 2DS, 2DS, new 2DS XL. So, yeah, like literally every single Nintendo console aside from the Wii U has had a newer, better version release for it.
Well, even the Wii U had a deluxe version that was like had more internal memory than the original release too. So
yeah, so this, like, it would be more likely for Nintendo to release an upgraded version than not, because 90% of the time they have released a newer, better version of the console. it would make sense for them to have 4K functionality added to it, since that's really the only thing that this is missing. Aside from like minor upgrades, like having headphone capabilities on the Pro controller, whatever they're calling it. Because unlike Xbox or PlayStation, you can't plug headphones straight into it to play. You have to actually use your Switch to plug headphones into. So there are like some minor upgrades they can have, but the main thing that people are asking for is like just more power from it, so they can play games that otherwise wouldn't be able to come to it. Or if they do come to it, then they're heavily downgraded, similar to like when you play Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U and then you go to play it on the 3DS version, and then you have to get like 2 feet away from an enemy before it pops in, otherwise they disappear. So there's a lot of stuff like that's holding the Switch back. But what do you guys think about this rumor particularly? Because again, it is likely Nintendo would release something, but I don't know if it would come this soon. I would imagine they would release it like the Switch Pro, or even if they call it a brand new console altogether, I would imagine it would come out around the same time that like the PlayStation 5 is being announced. I don't think they would release it this early. But going to you guys, starting with you, Kayla, since you happen to work for Nintendo, tell us all of the inside secrets you have. Call up Miyamoto, tell him that we want to know what's going on.
I have no inside secrets. All I have is, so far, only one person has asked if we have Smash Ultimate at the tent. But my thoughts of having like a new like Nintendo Switch Pro, like I think that would be a really cool idea, but I feel like Jesse said, it would have to be a lot later on, because I woke up this morning to this rumor and I just kind of like I saw the reactions and people were like flipping out. They're like, I just got my Nintendo Switch like a year ago and da 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 da. Like, yeah, like I feel like an upgrade to this capacity is a little bit too soon, and at the same time, like, I don't know, like, we'll see what happens. But as it is, like, I'm currently okay with my Nintendo Switch. I don't plan on ever like if I want to stream with it, I just use like my Elgato thing. So yeah.
All right, Daniel.
I pretty much am on the same page. I mean, I think it's likely they'll release a newer version of the Switch, but not next year, not 2018. Your examples, I mean, let's look at, for example, the 3DS. The 3DS originally released in 2011, and the new Nintendo 3DS XL, which was like the newer, more improved version of that, did not release till 2015. I feel like that amount of time gives a lot of consumers enough time to upgrade, or maybe jump in if they never got a 3DS in the first place, like myself. But 2 years after the console's released, that's just gonna piss people off. Basically, like, people are gonna be upset. Like, they just got their Switches. Like, the Switch has not been out long enough to warrant an upgrade. So while I feel like the rumor in itself that Nintendo may release an upgraded version of the Switch may have some truth to it, Marcus Seller's rumor, just that tweet, I think it's fabricated. I think that he has no grounds for that statement at all. I did double check his Twitter. He has since deleted the tweet. He posted saying, oh, you know, he was getting too many, he said for undisclosed reasons, but we can infer that he was getting too much backlash, so he took it down. But I don't know what his claimed source is. As near as I could find with the screenshots we have of his original tweet, he doesn't have a source really to cite anyways, so I would take it with the and take that with it. So those are my thoughts.
All right. I want to give, because I did a quick Google search. The original 3DS released in February of 2011.
Right.
About a year and a half later, in July, so like a year and 5 months,
right,
in July of 2012, the 3DS XL released.
Sure.
And then
that's really just a larger 3DS.
Yeah.
I don't think the 3DS XL was actually more powerful.
And then 3 years later, so 3 years after the 3DS XL released, we got the new 3DS. So going by like how they treated the 3DS, it released 3 years after, as opposed to. But then they also had the second upgrade in between that with the 3DS XL, which was just a larger screen.
Yeah.
So like the Switch has been out for a year and a half, right? 2019 would make it 2 years. So like maybe like holiday season 2019, 2.5 years, because that's getting closer to 3 years. But I couldn't see it releasing like early 2019. I think that's something they would have like an E3 announcement in 2019, and then have it release holiday season or something like that. And then that would be 2.5 to 3 years later. But either way, it's I don't necessarily believe that at all, because obvious reasons. But I would like to say, with the minor improvements, before we go to the next topic, what are some minor features that you would like to see if they did release this this new version of the Switch? What would you like to see? I'll start with two things. One is on the controllers, which we've seen Xbox update their controllers as well. PlayStation has updated their PlayStation 4 controllers. Like if you go and buy a standard PlayStation 4 controller now, you'll get the newer version. It kind of just replaced it, so there's not two different models. It's just like the newer one replaced the old one.
Right.
But I would like to see Nintendo do something like that, to where they do have the headphone jack plugged in for the controller. So that would be one minor thing. And the second minor thing would be the bezel around the Switch screen. Like there's a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of black going around where the screen doesn't necessarily go to the top or the bottom edges of the Switch. I would like to see the screen like an inch bigger. So the size of the screen is bigger, but the Switch itself is the exact same size. So you get a bigger screen, maybe update the resolution since it will be a more powerful system. And yeah, it just like the screen goes to the edges, similar to on like newer smartphones where like the screen goes to the like straight to the edge. But those are my two updates. Since Kayla went first last time, Daniel, what are yours? Also, really quick, the headset and the thing would help. In my head, I imagine it would help a lot with online chat for like online multiplayer and stuff. Which I know Fortnite, you can have online chat on the Switch, but no other game supports it, which is really weird.
Yeah, but actually, it's a great segue to what I was
Kayla kind of looks frozen.
Oh no, I'm not frozen.
You are frozen.
Yeah, turn your camera off and turn it back on. But yes, go Daniel.
Hello.
Okay, but yeah, that was a great segue because I was gonna say is right now with Switch's online services as they're announced is you'll have to.
Oh wait, hold on. We got a $5 donation
from Gibbs.
Oh, from Gibbs.
It's from Gibbs.
Just
for
adding to
Daniel's Mario Kart fund.
Gibbs. So here's the thing. I send Daniel money every month for being on the podcast. So he is yet to buy Mario Kart, and he gets more than enough to buy Mario Kart. So you'll just have to you'll have to fight with him about that.
I will. I'm gonna make this. I will buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch the next time that I get the money. So there you go, Gibbs. Since you've donated multiple times, saying that I should get it.
Also, for everyone else, if you do have a super chat and you donate for the podcast, your question or whatever will be immediately read, just as Gibbs was just now. So if you have a question you would like to ask for Kayla, Daniel, or I, Super Chat is the way to do it. And back to you, Daniel. Sorry for the interruption.
Right.
It was
No,
just
no, it's all
five doll hairs. Kayla's
no, it's
frozen
always
again
good.
with her mouth open.
Or is that just how she looks?
I don't know.
No,
Okay, she's
there
fixed.
we go. It could the
She's
leg
fixed
caught
now.
up.
Guys!
Back to you, Daniel.
Right. So so right now the app on a smartphone or iPad or whatever device is needed to do like the online service. They have their app. If they were doing like a Switch Pro version, it would be really cool to just have that built into it instead of needing an extra device to do that. I just think that would be, honestly, I think they should just do that already, but if we were saying just changes we want to make, that would be really cool. The other thing is, if we're doing 2, right? Is that right?
Si, senor.
Okay.
Or whatever.
What was the other one going to be? I did think of something while we were talking about this, and now it's slipped my brain. Oh, no. Oh, okay, nope. I lost it again. It's going to come back to me. while I try and remember what I was going to say. Why don't you go ahead, Kayla?
I think probably 2 things that I would want fixed, just like off the top of my head, would be to fix like the kickstand they have, because I know a lot of people that have broken it, and it's really inconvenient because that's where weird disaster. And then I think I agree with Jesse with like kind of pushing it out so that way the entire screen is actually covered up instead of having that little bit of the border.
Right.
But other than that, I have no complaints about my console.
All right, I did turn
what my other one was now.
microphone up for the people in the chat that were asking. I did turn it up, and I'm getting closer, so you should be able to hear me now. I have it turned down, so when I upload it in the edited version, it sounds a lot better without clipping. So,
Okay.
all right. So,
yes,
Daniel, your last thing.
So right now, with the Switch, if you hold down the screenshot button for like a couple seconds, it'll record the last 30 seconds of gameplay. It would be nice to be able to just turn recording on, play for however long without having to worry about the time frame. So just like have a recording feature, turn it on, play for however long, and then be able to just upload that to wherever without it being limited to just a screenshot or 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be a cool function. If they're like in Marcus Seller's fake tweet, he mentions a streaming function. That would be cool too, but if we could have both, why not, right?
Yeah.
So,
I like, I think the PlayStation 4, it does a weird thing to where it's always, and I guess the Switch is doing it too, but the Switch is only doing it for like 15 seconds, to where like it's always recording the gameplay for like 15 seconds. Isn't that right?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like if you press the button, it'll show you the last 15 seconds of gameplay, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You can, like if you hold down the capture button, it'll save the last 30, I think it's 30 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah, but like it's not the 30 seconds after you press it, it's the 30 seconds before.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's always it's constantly recording 30 seconds of footage.
I guess so.
Which is very, like recording video
Mm-hmm.
is very taxing on like the GPU and everything.
Right.
So it makes me wonder, like, whenever, what were you saying, Daniel? Sorry.
I mean, that feature's handy though, because say you're playing something and something weird and random happens, and you don't have to have that moment where like, oh, I wish I had been recording.
You have the,
like,
oh, I'm gonna press this button.
I'm gonna press this button and save that because that was hilarious. I've done that where I had someone searches through my Twitter far enough back. There's one where the Guardian just like went total ragdoll and flew through the air.
I think you
like,
showed that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice because that was a total moment where I would have been like, oh no, that was hilarious. I wish I could have recorded that. But at least I could have just saved that quick little snippet of footage. But
Yeah.
yeah, Yeah, if it was not so restricted to just 30 seconds, that would be really cool, because maybe I want to record longer than that, I don't know, without having to set up my Elgato or... Yeah, so...
Nice.
It's good.
What I always... It makes me think, if it wasn't using the extra processing power to record that 15 seconds, then, like, would that help some of the frame rate issues, like when you go into Korok Forest and Breath of the Wild and like the frame rate drops down a lot? If it wasn't using the extra processing power to record, then
it probably would.
It would run a bit smoother.
Yeah. Because even if you just turn off the Wi-Fi, it helps. Like it just the.
Today we have Capt Bergerson.
Hello!
And Chablima, our two awesome co-hosts. Before we get started, we have shout-outs for our Patreons, because at the end of the show, we answer questions sent in by fans like yourself, where we try to answer as many as possible. Sometimes we don't have enough time to answer all of the questions we get sent. Like today, we have dozens of questions. So if you would like your question guaranteed to be answered, you can become a Patreon, where you get a bunch of other awesome stuff, even sometimes maybe join on the podcast with us, or other scripted Zelda theories and whatnot. Anyways, a huge thank you goes to Jacob, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Gus, Justin, That One Pancake, Key of Time 15, Monica, Casey, Link Use the Triforce, Megan, Lunarium, Robbie, Shadow to Us, Rusty Caulfield, and Lovable Christie. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about a lot of rumors, some really cool fan projects, and Overcooked 2. So we have rumors about a new Nintendo Switch model coming out. It's not really a rumor, but it's a very fun discussion topic. Ocarina of Time online multiplayer. There's a fan who has made his own version of Ocarina of Time that you can play online with your friends. And we are going to be doing our review, or Kayla's review really, of Overcooked 2 on the Nintendo Switch. And finally, we are going to end it before we get to our podcast with a discussion on all of the best and worst things of Majora's Mask. So,
hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like, and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.